Welcome to another episode of Get Your Chat On with GYC Vegas, recorded and produced at the Video Podcast Studio. I'm your host, Gina Yeager, founder and director of GYC Vegas, an award-winning PR and marketing agency. We believe every company has a story to tell, and we're passionate about getting businesses recognized. At Get Your Chat On, we sit down with local professionals to get to know a little about their organization, their role, and their perspective on our vibrant business community here in Southern Nevada. On today's episode, we're thrilled to chat with Kristi Staab, a dynamic leadership expert, executive coach, award-winning speaker, and best-selling author with over 30 years of transformative, hands-on experience building high-performing teams, navigating change, and creating cultures where people thrive. The self-proclaimed chief rock star is a passionate advocate for developing confident, competent leaders who deliver real results and is the force behind values-based leadership for Fortune 500 companies, entrepreneurs, and the elite teams of iconic brands like Levi's, Lexus, and American Express. Kristi's signature rockstar leader methodology and the One Big Thing mastermind program combine authenticity, accountability, and action to help individuals and organizations exceed their expectations and achieve their most ambitious goals. Hi, Kristi. Thank you so much for joining us.
You kidding me? I've been waiting to get my chat on with you.
Yay! I'm so excited. I'm so excited to talk to you. So tell us more about Kristi Staab Enterprises. I met you at the Henderson Chambers leadership program that I did in 2023 and just fell in love with your leadership style and how you lead teams. And I know that you do this for hundreds of other organizations. And just talk about your program and what you do.
Gina, first and foremost, thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you today. And it started as a dream, and it's been going for 16 years. And it's funny because values-based leadership is part of what you had mentioned earlier. And really just honing in on, I was in corporate America for 19 years. And I just said, I want to work with the leaders who are the ultimate rock stars, who even when they get to the top of the charts, they've only just begun. And they want to make the lives and the business experience for the people that work for them every day that much better. So that's why I started the company. It's going along strong, and I've had the opportunity to meet so many fabulous people that I'm so appreciative.
What department or what role did you have in corporate America before you made the transition?
So it was across industry, sports, entertainment, and music.
Okay.
And I did anything from sales to marketing to leadership development of my team members.
And that was your favorite part?
It was. It's always the people. I say people are either the most challenging thing about any experience we have, or they're the best thing about any opportunity that we have. It all comes back down to the people.
So we talked a little bit about kind of how the transition happened, but how did you first realize that this kind of leadership development was your true calling?
I was 33 years old, and I was at Fox in LA at the corporate offices.
Okay.
And I'm sitting down with the head of our division, the president, and he offers me a 3-year deal, more money than I'd ever made, and a guaranteed contract. And Gina, that was everything that I worked for. And at 33 years old, I looked at him and I said, I don't want to do this anymore. And I kind of didn't know what I wanted to do. I always thought I was going to invent what I called my gazillion-dollar idea that changed the world.
Don't we all want to do that?
I'm still waiting. What I found, though, is I always had a knack, even from a little girl. Like when somebody new would move into the neighborhood, I'd be the first one knocking on the door, introducing them, asking them, how can I help you? And bringing them into the mix, making life easier for them. And I just think we as human beings have such a potential to live incredible lives. And what hurts me, I guess, and what drives me is getting people to be able to see their own potential and go with it. And what hurts me about that is sometimes people are too afraid to pick it up and run with it. So that's what I think the real drive is just helping people be at their best. And sometimes they don't even know what they're capable of. So my husband and I call it the nudge. Like both of us had the nudge when we were growing up. People said, oh, you should do this. And I'd say, I don't know how to do that. You don't, but you'll figure it out. And I always did. It was somebody seeing something in me that I couldn't see in myself. And that's what I look for when people come to me to coach them.
So, okay, there's a lot of questions I would love to kind of unpack that, right? So my next question is always the journey to today. What were some of the milestones that shaped your career? So you said you had this, I don't want to do this anymore. What was the next step? And then the milestones along the way.
It was discovery, because I had to take a back seat to everything I thought I ever wanted was right there in front of me until I just said, I don't want to do that. And then I went back and I just paused. I was living in LA and I quit my job. I went back to Scottsdale and I took a pause. I had to figure out, what's my drive? What's my ambition? What's my motivation? What do I love to do? And if I never got paid another day in my life, what would I be willing to do for the rest of my life? And it was literally work with people who wanted to be better than they were today. And it's not about people not being enough, right? Because I would say if you and I were in a training right now, I would say, Gina, you're already enough. It's that little drive that many people have inside of them. They just don't know what it looks like. And before I could take anybody there, I had to figure out what it looked like for me. And so I gave myself about a 5-year window prior to opening my own business. And I went back and got my executive MBA. One big thing. I saved a year's worth of salary as to not put myself at financial risk. One big thing. And then I gave myself a 6-month runway. After I quit corporate, I thought I'm going to go and travel the world. And after about 3 months, when no one else is retired and you are, it gets really boring.
Yeah.
So I started my business early. There's nobody to travel with. So I started my business early, and that's another one of the one big things in my life.
Okay.
So.
Oh my gosh. So you talked a little bit about your mission or your purpose. What do you feel that is that lies at the heart of your work?
It's part of what I say in my purpose statement. It's to use my good-hearted nature and my passion for human potential to help people ideally be the best leaders they can be, for self first and then for others, which is counterintuitive what a lot of leadership programs tell us.
Right.
It's like, go take care of your people and put yourself last. And what I found is if we can't take care of ourselves first, there may be a time that comes when we don't have the energy, the health to take care of everybody else first. And I also believe part of the it factor in being a great leader is if I have my own house in order, I don't have to tell anybody to do anything. I don't have to ask anybody to do anything. Just by the way I show up, people are inspired and aspiring to do certain things when they look at the leaders they admire. And if you have your own house in order, it's a heck of a lot easier to get people to follow you.
Yeah, totally agree. Before I became a business owner, I always looked at the qualities that I liked in other leaders before, so that I make sure not to make the same
Absolutely.
mistakes. And I make sure that, the things that I loved about my bosses.
Yeah.
Why not emulate that behavior? You're going to keep your staff around. They're going to be happier. And,
Absolutely.
yes. And thankfully, I have a pretty great team who's been around for a long time. So I'm very blessed.
I think that also speaks to your leadership.
Thank you. So let's talk about your motivating spark. What gets you motivated to start every day?
The people I get to work with, because they are motivated. They are itching for the next best version of themselves, and having the opportunity to do what I do, having the opportunity to see somebody say they want to do something, focus on it, and bring it from ambition to reality, it's huge.
You get to see that transformation.
The transformation, see people celebrate, see how, in many cases, how it changes their family. and changes their family financially. And then that's a whole generational change for future generations inside of families as well.
Right. As you're carrying on, you're starting a legacy and then you're carrying that on.
Exactly.
Yeah. So how do you, this is not a question that's on here, but I'm just curious, how do you earn new business? Does the phone just ring for Kristi?
So it's really interesting. And I have a business coach, Gina.
You have your own coach.
I always say, if you're ever looking for a coach, ask your coach if your coach has a coach.
That's good.
Because we never really evolve to the ultimate, right? It's always, we're always learning.
Yes.
Absolutely. So my business coach would say the way I earn business is the wrong way to approach business. So don't follow in these footsteps.
Okay.
The majority of how I earn business and I earn trust from people is referrals. And if you were to take a look at a sundae, she says the cherries on top, that's where the referrals come in. So the cherries are the added value there. Really what you should be doing is having that consistent pipeline, which at the end of the day, that's your ice cream. And mine is sort of upside down. The bottom of my sundae bowl, so to speak, is filled with cherries. Because what I find out to be true is people buy from people they know, like, and trust. And if someone else has a really good experience and it changes their life, it changes their family's life, it may even change their business and the associates inside of the business life. I mean, think of all those ripples. Then it's very easy for people to quickly trust. And oftentimes what I find is when people inquire about coaching, they don't have the personal experience of working with a coach before, they become hesitant, and it's really easy to push it off.
Yeah.
When they have somebody that they can look to, that they know, that they go, these are the results I got, and these are why, as having worked with, hopefully me.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So, and I know you, the next question, and I might come to Henderson Chamber, but in what ways do you give back to the Las Vegas community?
I'm involved in a lot of different things. As you had mentioned, I've done Leadership Henderson for, I think this is my 8th class. And the other ways I participate is I'm involved with the Las Vegas Chamber Executive Women's Council. It's a group of women leaders across the United States, across Las Vegas, and we're always doing something out in the community that makes a difference. And one thing that I'm really super excited about is sports, and that was part of my corporate life. And I've been involved in the Las Vegas Bowl now for probably 8 years, and had the great honor of, in 2023 and 2024, serving as the chair of the bowl game.
Okay.
And we do lots of different things to raise money, to raise awareness for different nonprofits in the Valley.
Okay.
And I like to donate blood as well.
Oh, okay.
I think that's something that if we're healthy enough to do, it's something we can do every 8 weeks, and it makes a difference. I've heard of so many stories of people that require blood every 3 weeks.
Wow.
And without blood donations, they wouldn't be alive. So lots of amazing things. And Gina, that's one of the things I love about Las Vegas. It is so philanthropic minded, and there's so many people doing so many great things. It's lovely.
Absolutely. Yes, I feel that too. I'm involved in a lot of nonprofits as well. We have a lot of nonprofit clients. I sit on boards. And so, and I love that about our city too. It's just how much people are wanting to give back, willing to give back, and always engaged in the community.
Totally.
Professional advice. So looking back, what are some of the most valuable lessons you've learned that as an entrepreneur, you could tell others who might benefit from?
I think this actually probably is a continuation of a question that you had asked earlier, just in my own professional journey.
Yeah, and you started at 33. That's young.
It's, I didn't have mentors growing up. And I think part of the reason I do the work I do today is because I wonder what would my life have been like if I had mentors along the way. If I had people that could show me how to get to a vision, perhaps, that I had for myself, that I just couldn't see from where I was to where I wanted to be, how I could get there. And that's part of what happened to me when I left Fox. I just couldn't see, how do I live this life in Los Angeles that I wanted to live, because everything was so expensive. And I couldn't see it. Yet I could see that path forward in different areas of my life after I did the work and the investment in myself. And so much of what I focus in on is helping people create your vision. Don't worry about the how-to first. Create the idea of what you want most, and I will help you get there. Because oftentimes we can stop ourselves in our tracks by just saying, I don't know how to get there, therefore I'm not going to be willing to risk what it takes to go down that path alone. So I suggest for people who are later in their careers, be a mentor to someone. Be a mentor. Help show them how they can get from where they are to where they want to be. And if you need a mentor, ask people for help. One of the limiting beliefs I had as a child was that it was a sign of weakness if you asked others for help, until there was a point, very pivotal in my career, that I thought, I am in this boat by myself. I've got some oars, and I can either ask for somebody to get in the boat and help me row and get out of the mess I was in, or I was afraid I was going to drown. And when I did, what I realized, by asking for help, it cut the time frame from probably 12 to 18 months to about 2 months. So be willing to ask for self, and actually, it's a sign of strength.
Absolutely, because you want to become a better professional.
Totally.
Yeah, that's all. That's what it's all about. Upcoming initiatives. I know. Okay, tell me what this. I'm going to guess you're going to say this one big thing. Is that?
I might. Are
you working on something else?
I might have two big things.
Okay, because I'd like tell me more about that program, and then whatever else you've got coming up that you're working on.
Thank you so much. The one big thing has probably been in progress for about 5 years. It's been live for the last 3, and had 2020 not happened, it would have launched in 2020. Okay. So the one big thing is a mastermind group that people come into, they join, and they have one big thing that they want to go after. Now, what's interesting about us as human beings, we like to chase everything. And oftentimes we chase everything and don't get the one big thing we want most. So the one big thing is going to be different for all kinds of people. Some of the people that are in the group are looking for love. They want a relationship. Some people are looking for, how do I take my business and grow my business? Other people are looking at, I have this idea. I don't know how to bring the idea to life. And so it's taking a look at what's important for you. Some people have started their one big thing and gotten stuck and stopped. Some people haven't even decided what their one big thing is. And when I say, hey, Gina, what's your one big thing? And people go, I have no idea, but I have some homework. So working through, it's a year-long program where people work through limiting beliefs. They work through risks that perhaps they haven't been willing to take until now. They have input, a lot of coaching from me, and then input from other masterful minds in the group on how to take that next step to move their one big thing forward. So that right now is my favorite thing I'm doing. And then I'll know more next week. I do believe that I will finally, in its probably 5th iteration, finally have my first solo penned book signed, sealed, and delivered in time for Christmas.
Oh, wow.
So
that's super exciting.
That's the one big thing.
And are you, that's the next one big thing. And are you self-publishing that, or do you have
I will be self-publishing it.
Okay.
I'm using, I should say it's actually hybrid.
Hybrid.
I'm using a colleague of mine.
Okay.
That's published, I can't tell you how many books, and she used to work for one of the big publishing houses
great.
in New York, and that's where she's based out of.
That is perfect.
So yes, that will be my one big thing by hopefully November 1st.
And the book is about leadership and career development? Or?
In part, it is leadership. At the end of the day, it's about values.
Okay.
Because what people don't realize in our lives is that any result that we're currently experiencing in our life, whether that's personal finances, our relationships, business, career, or health and well-being. Any result that we're getting, good, bad, negative, positive, is a result of the values that we're living out loud. So it's a deep dive into values. It might be a little uncomfortable here and there. When you get through that discomfort, though, one of my clients said it so well a year ago. She said, I didn't really pay attention to my values until I went through this values experience with you. And she said, and I'm so glad that I did, because when I understood what my driving values are, or were, and are for her, it was so easy for me to take a look at my life and say, this is a definite yes, this is a heck no.
Right.
Like, there's nothing in between. And she said, I cleaned out friends in my friend group. I left a very comfortable and thriving climb in a corporate position and went out and started my own business, is what she said. And had she not taken a look at her values, she wouldn't have realized that she wasn't living the life she knew she was capable of, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's so inspiring. It really is. Yes.
It's exciting.
Yes. All right, we have the next two sections I like to call just the fun stuff, right?
Awesome.
Yeah. So the first is, because I know you network in Vegas because I see you at networking events all the time. But this is on networking, and it's a Mad Libs fill in the blank style questions.
What a hoot.
Okay. All right. So you just say the first thing that comes to your mind. When doing business in Las Vegas, it's essential to have a solid strategy for
building long-term relationships, no transactional relationships.
Absolutely. The key to networking in Las Vegas is to always remember to
remember to appreciate and acknowledge other people for the things they're doing well in life.
In Las Vegas, it's not just about business, it's also about...
Oh my gosh. It is about this iconic city that, I'll tell you the big thing for me, Gina, when my husband and I moved here 10 years ago, it's one of those fun things that when you first get here, about the first 18 months, it's like everything is an experience. You know, you'll be walking through the Bellagio and something will happen and you'll go, that only happens here. So it's this ongoing unwrapping, unveiling of the most iconic city on earth. And what was the question again?
Yeah, it's also about Vegas. It's not just about business, it's also about...
This city, and I've lived in a lot of cities, this city is so unique in that it's so entrepreneurial. It is so opportunistic, and I mean that in a very healthy way.
Right.
That you don't hear, we can't do that here, we don't do that here. You hear who needs to be at the table to make this happen. And I remember so many times that first 18 months we were here, it would be like the banker would be here, the construction company would be there, the lawyer would be there, and then we'd create whatever it was, and it would be like the end of dinner. Okay, let's go. It's like, let's move, let's continue to grow and evolve. And this is, in my opinion, and I've lived in some amazing places, this is one of the most amazing, engaging, and ever-evolving cities. So exciting.
What's one thing every new transplant should know before doing business here?
You'll probably say, as you look around, this only happens in Vegas, and you'll be right.
Yeah. All right, some fun places Kristi likes to visit. So when connecting for over anything, coffee, drinks, lunch, you can't go wrong meeting at where?
So I have sort of a new one. They opened a new Earth Cafe right by Whole Foods on the 215 and Green Valley Parkway. And that was a new one. For me, I do live in Henderson. I think 98% of the people that I know live on the other side, the west side. So typically we will just end up at Town Square because it's the halfway point.
Yes, I do the same.
So halfway point.
What's the best way you like to unwind after a long day? You like to recharge and indulge in some blank?
It's one of the things my husband fell in love with me for. I like to watch SportsCenter. I love to watch SportsCenter. It used to put me to sleep every night. And when my husband and I met, he said, "What do you like to do at night?" I said, I love to watch SportsCenter. And so that's still part of what I love to do.
Done.
I love my sports.
I need to look no further.
I love my sports. It used to be to take baths, but I think as I get older, I don't take as many baths. I'm just kind of a shower, get in, get out, go,
Then you got
get on the
things to
road.
do. Right. All right, personal lightning round of questions. So this is first thing also that you can think of. If you could teleport anywhere in the world right now, where would you go and why?
Oh, Santorini.
Ooh.
Santorini.
Greece, right?
Greece.
Okay.
I know. I was so stuck in the visual in my head. I'm very visual, and I saw that beautiful scape. Yes, Santorini, Greece.
I would like to visit there. What did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh my gosh, there were 3 things I wanted to be. I wanted to be the lead singer of my own rock band.
Oh, yep, that's why
touring.
You're the self-proclaimed chief rock star. Okay.
You got it. Touring stadiums around the world, even at this age. The next thing that I wanted to be is I wanted to be an ESPN sports anchor. I was a sports reporter for about 3 years out of school, and then just made a other choice that was more important to me than that. And then the third thing that I wanted to be is I wanted to play first base for a Major League Baseball team. So, and even so much as, remember when we were little, now I think they call it Take Your Kids to Work Day. I definitely wanted to be in music, sports, and entertainment because my 7th grade go to work day, I went to the top 40 radio station in Denver. And every time I go back there, the gentleman that I got to hang out with, who was the guy at the time, is still on a morning show playing top 40 music from the 80s.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
And is he still happy?
He must be.
Right?
He's doing it
You've been doing that forever.
At least 35 years. Well, maybe 40 years. Holy cow. Time flies.
Excuse me. If you could have a superpower, what would it be and how would you use it?
My superpower. I do have superpowers.
Okay.
I put my values first. You'll find that in the book.
That's your
talking about
superpower.
Values are your superpower.
Nice.
Yes.
What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done and would you do it again?
Is this rated PG, R, or XXX?
PG?
Okay. I haven't done any of the other crazy things, but it sounded good for a minute. What is the... Oh, well, this might not sound too exciting to some people. I did jump out of a perfectly fine airplane with the Army's Golden Knights. And when I was invited to do this, it should have been a heck no, because I'm afraid of heights. And when you jump with the Army's Golden Knights, you get to jump higher than you do as a civilian.
Oh, wow.
So I think we jumped at 13.5. Anyway, I said yes. And when I said yes to the opportunity, I said, and we're not going to talk about it until after I land on the ground, which was like 4 weeks later. And sure enough, like, it was such an exhilarating experience. And it felt like have you ever...
One time I jumped out of a plane.
You did? Okay. And you remember how they tell you to kind of lock around up here and you jump out and you're looking at the belly of the plane? And then when you make that move where you're no longer looking at the belly of the plane, you see the horizon.
Right.
That, to me, was one of the most incredible times of my whole life. And then there was this time in band camp when I did go to rock and roll.
Right there.
And then,
I'm sorry.
And then there was this time in band camp when I did go to rock and roll fantasy camp, which actually led to how we ended up moving here. And I got to sing and perform with Def Leppard. That was pretty cool.
So that fulfilled your whole wanting to be a rock star dream right there.
It did. I don't know if it fulfilled everyone else's journey because there is a reason I'm not a lead singer of my own rock band. But for 4 days and 2 evening performances, I got to be that. So that was
thank
fun.
you for answering those questions. You know, I ask those because we are not what we do for a living.
Right.
We are people with, dreams outside of careers, families. We love to travel and explore, and we have, just passions that we love doing, hobbies, whatever it is. And so I always like to get on that level with people because
super fun.
Again, we're not what we do for a living, right? That does not define us.
It does
It's
not.
how we make money, but it's not
Yes.
who we are.
Yes.
Which is why you talk about values. And
Absolutely.
yes, it's all coming full circle. Well, it's been such a pleasure talking with you today. I wish we could talk all day. Tell people how they can learn more about Kristi Staab Enterprises and connect with you.
Two ways. You can go to the onebigthing.me. And you can go to KristiStaab.com.
Okay, and that's KRISTI.
STAAB.com.
Exactly. Perfect.
Gina, thank you so much. What a pleasure.
Thank you. Well, that's a wrap for today's episode. Be sure to follow us at GYC Vegas on Instagram, Facebook, X, and LinkedIn, and subscribe to our channel wherever you stream podcasts. And if you want to learn more about how your business can enhance its marketing efforts through the power of PR, visit our website at gycvegas.com. Thanks for listening to Get Your Chat On with GYC Vegas, and we'll see you next time.